Today's story is about Amy, a 74-year-old small business owner who got caught in a modern cybercrime. And what makes her story so important is this: Amy is not naive. She's tech-savvy, experienced, and alert. But the scam still worked its way past her defenses. This story isn't about gullibility. It's about how easy it is for anyone, even smart, careful people, to be deceived when a situation feels urgent and just a little outside their comfort zone. Let's begin. Amy is the kind of grandmother who knows her way around the digital world. She runs a small business crafting handmade boaties, and she's deeply involved in her church, where she even handles some of their administrative work. She uses an iPhone, an iPad, a MacBook Pro, the whole Apple ecosystem. And like a lot of Apple users, she quietly believed that Apple devices don't get viruses. She's always been cautious. She's dealt with compromised bank cards before, but she never saw herself as a likely target. She lives a quiet life, tending her garden and staying busy with her church and friends. By almost any measure, she's the type of person who should know better than to fall for a scam. But sometimes the perfect storm forms, and even the most vigilant can get swept in. It all started with a small problem. Amy noticed her church's Microsoft account seemed tangled up with her personal one. She was worried she might be billed incorrectly. It was just a digital mix-up, nothing dramatic. And this is where the first crucial moment happened. Instead of using Microsoft's official support chat on their website, she did what millions of us do every day. She opened Google, typed in Microsoft support phone number, and called the very first number she saw. What Amy didn't know was that scammers often buy sponsored ads that appear right at the top of the search results, perfectly disguised as official support lines. The number she dialed went straight to a scam call center. Amy made the call from church, sitting with her pastor and the church's IT consultant. She put the phone on speaker, both for convenience and so everyone could hear. When the Microsoft support representative answered, they all heard the unmistakable hum of a busy call center in the background. It was a little unusual, but the representative sounded confident and professional. Amy explained her situation, and that's when the scammers started doing what they do best: collecting facts they could later use against her. They asked about the number of Microsoft accounts she had, the types of licenses, her email addresses, and the devices she used. As she shared these harmless-sounding details, the scammer began to build a story. "Ma'am, there's been a serious issue," he said. "The church account was overcharged by $12,000. We need to verify this urgently, and we'll help you get it corrected." It was a lie, of course, but it was a convincing one because it was based on the very details she had just provided. Then came the second red flag. The scammer claimed they needed to remotely access her iPhone to sort things out. Amy, her pastor, and even the IT consultant hesitated. Something felt off. But the IT consultant didn't strongly object, maybe because the scammer's confidence made everything feel official enough. Amy's gut whispered, "This isn't right," but she wasn't alone. If the pastor and the IT consultant weren't alarmed, she figured maybe she was just overthinking it. So she installed the app they recommended, a remote access tool, right from the App Store. The scammers then took control of her phone. And for Amy, that's when the unease started to sharpen. As the scammers browsed through her device, pretending to investigate the charges, they pulled up what looked like a Cash App transaction history. They claimed her account had been compromised, showing her proof of two huge charges, one for $12,000 and another for $4,000. This wasn't real. It was a doctored screenshot or a manipulated view. But from where Amy was sitting, with her phone being controlled remotely and two church members right beside her, the urgency felt incredibly real. The scammers warned that unless they kept working on it immediately, the church could lose thousands, and she might be held responsible. For a full hour, they kept her on the line, gathering information, reviewing files on her device, and probably copying data in the background. At one point, the remote connection dropped, and the scammers insisted they needed to reconnect quickly. This pressure is one of the most effective tools scammers use, and right in the middle of all that, Amy's phone received another call. The incoming call was from a friend, an experienced IT professional who works for a cybersecurity company. Amy stepped aside to answer. As she described what was happening, her friend instantly recognized the pattern. "Amy," he said, "that is not Microsoft. You need to hang up the other call right now." He asked a few quick questions. Did they remote into your iPhone? Did they ask for banking information? Were they warning you about huge charges? With every yes Amy gave, she felt her stomach sink. Her friend's response was direct and urgent. Hang up. Reset your phone to factory settings immediately. Every second counts. Suddenly, the whole situation snapped into focus. Her gut had been right all along. She hung up on the scammers. And only then did the fear truly set in. Amy was shaken. For someone who had always been so good at spotting scams, the realization hit hard. She felt embarrassed, angry, and worried about what the scammers might have taken. But embarrassment is one of the most dangerous emotions in cybercrime. It silences people and stops them from getting help. Thanks to her friend's guidance, Amy avoided that trap. She performed a full factory reset on her iPhone that same day. Then began the long, tedious process of damage control, changing passwords for every single account, contacting her bank, alerting the church's financial contacts, and notifying friends and charity partners that her device may have been compromised. Thankfully, there was no immediate financial loss, which was a blessing in a situation that could have cost tens of thousands. But that 1 hour of access had exposed her personal data, church information, donation details, and communication history. For days, she felt a mix of relief and lingering anxiety. It's one thing to clean up a mess. It's another thing not to know what the intruders took with them. The experience changed Amy profoundly, and for the better. She now trusts her instincts far more than before. She uses a password manager, enables multi-factor authentication everywhere she can, and only verifies support numbers from official websites. She treats any request for remote access as highly suspicious. And maybe most importantly, she no longer sees her Apple devices as immune to cyber threats. Apple is secure, but nothing is invulnerable, so how did this scam work? It was a hybrid remote access support scam. It started with a fake search engine ad, used social engineering to build trust, and then used remote access to manipulate what she saw on her screen. Once inside a device, scammers can harvest photos, copy contacts, read emails, and even access financial apps. Even a short session can give them shocking visibility. So what can we learn from Amy's story? Here are some practical recommendations. First, never trust phone numbers from a Google search. Go directly to the company's official website. Second, no legitimate company will ask to remote into your personal phone to fix a billing issue. Third, treat urgency as a major warning sign. Scammers use pressure to make you act without thinking. Always use a password manager and enable multi-factor authentication everywhere you can. And remember, no brand is completely immune to threats. Finally, and most importantly, trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. When in doubt, just hang up and verify. Amy's story is a powerful reminder that cybercrime isn't about how smart you are. It's about timing and manipulation. Anyone can fall for a scam. By sharing these stories openly, we help each other stay safe. Thanks for listening. Stay aware, stay cautious, and stay empowered. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories that can help protect you and your loved ones.